The winner of this comparison is the Samsung S90D. I just did that in under 10 seconds. Let's not waste any time. This is what you came here for. Smack like on this video for just getting to the point. The reason the Samsung S90D wins is because it has better contrast, better color, and overall the more aesthetically pleasing gaming features, game modes, so on and so forth. WOLED is just old technology. Anyone saying otherwise is trying to get you to adopt old technology for whatever reason. Now in this example to the right, the G4 gets brighter, but the contrast to the left is also stronger in this example, so they trade back and forth. It gets to the point where if you take quantum dots out of the equation, they really are very comparably matched as far as picture quality. Therein lies the problem. The LG G4 is substantially more expensive than the Samsung S90D, and that just isn't worth it. That's the short and sweet of it, again, in under a minute. Now, to dive a little bit deeper into some of the nuanced details with the back and forth comparison that you can see, again, Samsung's going to have the better color. LG is better at keeping a flatter picture. Flatter pictures aren't always ideal, but for more cinematic movies with really crushed blacks, they can be. Now in this example to the right, the G4 has better three-dimensionality and depth and pop. Again, something only attainable through my setup, my settings. This is not something out of the box you will ever achieve. This is not something any calibrator will ever achieve. They calibrate to 30-year-old reference standards back when we were rocking old Rec 709 color. So again, the sun and the sky on the Samsung being clearer, more vibrant color on the LG to the right, all back and forth trades. Again, you're not going to see this anywhere else but Quantum TV. Now, that being said, if you want my settings, join for $5. Both of these TVs have been fully optimized, and you can unlock your TV's full potential to see what I'm on about here. But essentially, as we watch, you can kind of see it in this example. LG just has a little bit more in the way of lifted blacks comparatively to what we have on the Samsung S95 or S90D. Now, again, they both have very natural, very realistic color. The Samsung's Pantone validated. LG has ISF behind them. Again, both of these TVs are incredibly accurate, so we can throw the it's not accurate conversation out of the window. But what I can say is Samsung with the depth in this example is mind-blowing versus LG looking a little bit more flat. So again, sometimes they trade back and forth. The color blue in this example destroys the Samsung to the left. I mean, it gets to such a point where they do their strengths incredibly well. But it's ultimately the fact that Samsung has that extra color that really draws you in a lot more than LG with its dated approach to color. And I say dated approach to color because they know that QD-OLED exists. I don't know why they haven't gotten on board yet. But if you look at reds, like in this example, you'll see what I'm talking about. LG just has something sour about the way they present the color red. Again, if they can fix that, that would be huge for them. But in the years I've been reviewing LG TVs, at least since 2016, they have not fixed this issue. Except for like maybe once on the C1 and then quickly reverted back to their old ways because even the C1 wasn't perfect. The point being is that, again, neither competitor is perfect, right? There's no perfect TV, but there are differences, and that's what we're pointing out here, right? Like the red being more vibrant on the Samsung to the left, the LG being more pale, all around really in this example. Again, Samsung having higher contrast to the left, LG being a little bit more flat. Some people might like the look to the right a little bit more, calling it more natural. Some people might like the flowers to the left, saying it's more vibrant. It is truly up to your personal palatry. Me personally, I don't invest the type of money these TVs cost typically unless I'm getting a true feeling of an upgrade visually. And usually in the TV world, that means better brightness, better color, better contrast. I mean, that's really what it's all about when you're spending a lot of money for these upper echelon TVs. And the G4 by no stretch of the imagination is a slouch, but it just costs way too much and offers way too little because it being a WOLED is its biggest detractor. It's kind of common sense that it's a WOLED, but again, it's hurting it more than helping it. You can see in almost every single real example. The Samsung is keeping up in terms of brightness incredibly well with the LG G4. Nobody's going to tell you that. The Samsung S90D Because of how concentrated the brightness is, it does a great job. Now, in this example, LG slaughters the Samsung. They do warm tones a lot better in certain examples, but now the trees in this example are better on the Samsung. It trades back too much, and that's the point here. The price to value ratio was lost the moment Samsung started punching harder. And I think that's something people don't want to admit. When clarity and depth can be edged out on the LG with all their talks of their new AI processing on the Samsung, that's a problem. Also, comparatively, when color is lost, that's a problem. Brightness does go to the LG. You can see it in this example. It's brighter, clearly. And that gives a certain level of three-dimensionality in the scene that just isn't possible on the S90D that has lower brightness. Again, but it depends on the window of peak brightness. Like now, they're almost equal and equivalent to brightness levels. So it's not always like it's always going to be that way. The contrast in this example goes to the Samsung to the left. I mean, they're going to trade back and forth again, entirely way too close for comfort. If I paid $25.99 plus tax for the G4, I'm not going to want a less expensive TV to beat me. I'm going to want to know that I'm on the Sony A95L level, right? Because that's the price of the Sony A95L right now. I'm sorry, but just buy a Sony A95L. Don't be silly with your money and waste it on a WOLED. Get a quantum dot OLED and call it a day. You don't have to like Samsung, go Sony. I mean, the point and the messaging is clear. Quantum dots are where you need to be. And you're seeing it here. Look at the color differences between the Lizard. The contrast it's just a better experience. And when you have this tit for tat going back and forth so often, there can only be one clear winner, and that's going to be quantum dot. Look at the Lizard's colors here. I mean, really, the left is popping. The right is a little bit more pale. And that's just the play-by-play for this entire comparison. The moral of the story is this. Both are comparable TVs. Both are competent TVs. But again, look at the eyes on the frog right here. This is your real takeaway. And this is post-calibration. So there's nothing more you can do for the LG. It just has a certain ceiling and limit. And for $25.99, I wouldn't want it to reach that limit as quickly as it does comparatively to a QD-OLED. And that's just the truth. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.